Ladies and gentlemen, there's a moment in life when someone pushes your buttons, when they throw shade, disrespect, or even try to bait you into a fight. And in that split second, you have two choices: react or remain still. Most of us are trained to react, to clap back, to defend, to prove our point. But here's the truth. Every time you react, you hand over your power like loose change in your pocket. Silence is not weakness, it's control. It's you saying, I see the game, but I'm not playing. And when you don't react, you protect your peace. Think about it. Anger, frustration, defensiveness, all of that is energy. And energy is your currency. If you keep spending it on every little comment, every rude glance, every critic, you'll be broke before the day is over. But if you hold it, if you pause, you stay rich in patience, rich in clarity, rich in power. Here's the secret. The louder the chaos, the more powerful your stillness becomes. People expect you to break, to lash out, to mash their disrespect. But when you don't, you flip the script. You show them who's really in control. Because your response shapes the outcome more than their action ever will. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, remember this: react to nothing, and you take back everything. Your time, your energy, your peace, your power. Violence is not weakness, it's control. Most people misunderstand silence. They think if you don't speak, you don't care. They assume if you don't argue back, you've lost. They believe that if you don't defend yourself, you must not have a defense. But silence is not about losing. Silence is about choosing. Choosing when, where, and how to use your energy. It's about knowing the difference between what deserves your reaction and what deserves your peace. And often peace is worth more than the last word. Think about it. When someone insults you, their goal is to pull you into their chaos. They want you to flinch, to fire back, to prove that they can control how you feel. The moment you snap, you've given them exactly what they wanted: your energy, your attention, your power. But when you stay silent, when you refuse to get dragged into the noise, you keep the upper hand. You let them exhaust themselves while you stand steady. That's not weakness, that's control in its purest form. Silence is not shutting down, it's leveling up. It's the recognition that not every battle is worth fighting. Some words don't deserve answers. Some people don't deserve access to your emotions. The most powerful person in the room is not the loudest. It's the one who doesn't have to prove anything. That's what silence is. Confidence in action. We've been taught that winning an argument means speaking louder, talking faster, and proving our point with more force. But the real win isn't in out-talking someone. The real win is in refusing to let them disturb your peace. Because words spoken in anger may give you a moment of relief, but they often leave behind regret. Silence, on the other hand, rarely needs cleaning up. It protects your integrity, your relationships, and most importantly, your inner calm. Now, silence doesn't mean you let people walk over you. It doesn't mean you accept disrespect. It means you decide what is worth addressing and what is worth ignoring. It means you respond, not react. A response is thought out, measured, and intentional. A reaction is impulsive, emotional, and often regrettable. Silence gives you the space to choose the different. When you practice silence, you train yourself in patience. You train yourself in clarity. You create a pause, and in that pause, you gain perspective. You give yourself the power to ask, does this really matter? Does this deserve me? Or is my silence the strongest answer? More often than not, silence speaks louder than words. It says, I am unbothered. It says, I am in control. It says, you don't move me. So the next time someone tries to provoke you, don't rush to defend, argue, or prove. Remember that silence is not weakness. It's the highest form of control. And in that control lies freedom. The freedom to rise above, to protect your peace, and to keep your power where it belongs, in your hands. When you don't react, you protect your peace. Most people don't realize how much power they hand away by reacting to every word, every look, every situation that rubs them the wrong way. The truth is, reacting is easy. Anyone can snap back. Anyone can yell. Anyone can let their emotions run wild. But protecting your peace requires discipline. It requires the strength to pause, breathe, and remind yourself that not everything deserves a piece of you. Peace is not just quiet surroundings. Peace is a state of mind, a calmness that comes from knowing you are in control of yourself, no matter what is happening around you. And the fastest way to lose that peace is to let other people dictate your mood. When someone pushes your buttons, their goal is to see you lose balance. The moment you take the bait and react, they win. They've stolen your calm, disrupted your thoughts, and gained control over your emotions. But when you don't react, you guard that inner space. You tell them without words, you don't get to control me. That is true peace. Not reacting doesn't mean you don't feel. It means you choose not to let those feelings turn into actions that hurt you. You may feel anger, disappointment, or frustration, but instead of pouring gasoline on the fire, you let the flame burn out on its own. That's strength, because peace isn't about pretending things don't bother you. It's about refusing to let them own you. Think of peace as your most valuable property. If someone came to your house every day and tried to vandalize it, you'd protect it, right? You'd lock your doors, set boundaries, and refuse to let them take what belongs to you. Your mind deserves the same protection. Every time you react to nonsense, you're leaving the doors wide open. But when you guard your response, you guard your peace. The beauty of not reacting is that it shifts the power back to you. You are no longer a puppet to someone else's strings. You decide when to engage and when to walk away. You decide what matters and what doesn't. And often you realize that most things that trigger a reaction don't deserve more than a moment of thought. Peace is a rare thing in this world. People spend money chasing it, searching for it in vacations, books, and routine. But peace doesn't come from what's around you. It comes from what's within you. And the easiest way to protect it is by mastering your reactions. Every time you don't react, you invest in yourself. You save energy, you save time, and you save your mental clarity. So the next time someone tries to drag you into drama, remember this: not reacting doesn't mean you don't care. It means you care too much about yourself to let them steal your calm. When you don't react, you protect your peace. And in protecting your peace, you protect your power. Energy is your currency. Spend it wisely. Every day, you wake up with a limited amount of it. Just like money in your wallet, energy is something you invest, something you give, something you lose, and hopefully something you grow. But most people don't even realize how much of it they're wasting. They spend it on arguments that don't matter, on stress about things they can't control, on people who drain them instead of uplift them. And at the end of the day, they wonder why they feel exhausted, unmotivated, and empty. The answer is simple. They've overspent their energy on things that don't give anything back. The truth is, your energy is your greatest asset. It fuels your thoughts, your actions, your relationships, and your future. If you spend it recklessly, you'll always feel broke. But if you spend it wisely, you'll start to see the compound interest of peace, clarity, and growth. That means choosing where to put your focus, who gets your attention, and what battles are truly worth fighting. Not everyone deserves your response. Not every situation requires your involvement, and not every thought in your head deserves the space to stay. Think about how many times you've wasted energy on something small, replaying an insult in your mind, arguing with someone who was never going to understand you, stressing over what might happen instead of what is happening. All of that is like throwing cash into the wind. You'll never get it back, and it didn't buy you anything of value. But when you invest your energy in things that build you, learning, creating, connecting with people who matter, staying calm in situations designed to break you, you grow richer every single day. Spending your energy wisely also means setting boundaries. If someone constantly drains you, takes from you, or pulls you into negativity, you owe it to yourself to protect your account. You don't keep giving money to someone who never pays you back. So why keep giving energy to someone who only leaves you empty? Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing. Sometimes the strongest move is walking away. That's not coldness, that's wisdom. Your energy determines your experience of life. If you waste it on anger, you'll live in bitterness. If you waste it on worry, you'll live in fear. But if you invest it in patience, gratitude, and discipline, you'll live in strength. The choice is yours every single day. So protect your energy like you protect your money, your home, your future. Before you spend it, Ask yourself, is this worth it? Will this give me peace, or steal it? Will this move me forward, or keep me stuck? Because once your energy is gone, it's gone. And the only thing worse than having nothing left is realizing you gave it all away for nothing. Energy is your currency. Spend it wisely, and you'll never run bankrupt in peace, purpose, or power. Reacting gives others control. Choosing not to react keeps your power. Every time someone provokes you, they are testing to see if they can control your emotions. They throw out an insult, a sarcastic comment, or a little jab, and they wait. They wait to see if you'll rise to the bait. The moment you snap, argue, or let anger take over, you've handed them the remote control to your emotions. You may not even realize it, but in that instant, they own you. They dictated your response, your mood, and maybe even the rest of your day. That is the danger of react. When you react without thinking, you're no longer acting out of your values or your peace. You're acting out of someone else's agenda. They wanted you flustered and you gave it to them. They wanted to see you break and you delivered. That's why reaction is dangerous. It shifts power away from you and into the hands of the person who triggered you. But when you choose not to react, you reverse the script. You send a clear message. You don't control me, I control me. Now, not reacting doesn't mean you don't feel anything. It means you decide how to use those feelings. It means you pause long enough to choose clarity over chaos, wisdom over impulse, dignity over disrespect. And that choice is where real power lives. The person who can remain calm in the middle of conflict is the one who holds control of the situation. The louder they get and the calmer you stay, the more the balance shifts in your favor. Think of it like this. Reacting is handing over the steering wheel of your life to someone who doesn't even know where you're going. Choosing not to react is keeping both hands on the wheel, staying in your lane, and refusing to let someone else crash your peace. People may expect you to explode, to lash out, to argue endlessly, but when you don't, when you stay grounded and intentional, you leave them powerless. They lose control because they can't move you. Power isn't about who can shout the loudest. It's about who can stay centered the longest. It's about self-mastery. The strongest person isn't the one who always wins the fight, but the one who decides whether the fight is even worth having. And many times the wisest decision is to walk away with your peace still intact. So the next time you feel that rush of anger, that urge to clap back, remind yourself of this truth. If you react, you give them control. If you don't, you keep your power. And nothing is more valuable than your peace, your clarity, and your ability to rise above. Control yourself, and no one else can control you. Reacting gives others control. Choosing not to react keeps your power, and that is where your true strength lies. Stillness creates clarity in chaos. When life throws noise, conflict, and confusion at you, the natural instinct is to move fast, to respond quickly, to try to fix everything at once. But the faster you move in chaos, the more tangled you become. You speak without thinking, act without planning, and end up with regrets that only add more noise to the storm. Stillness is the opposite of what chaos expects. It's the pause in the middle of the storm. It's the deep breath before the decision. And it's in that pause that true clarity is found. When you are still, you give yourself the space to see things as they really are, instead of how your emotions are painting them in the moment. Anger exaggerates, fear distorts, stress magnifies. But stillness allows you to filter through the noise and ask, what's really happening here? What actually matters? What deserves my response? Without stillness, everything feels urgent. With stillness, you realize very little is. Stillness doesn't mean inaction. It doesn't mean you do nothing. It means you do the right thing at the right time, for the right reason. Think about water in a glass. Shake it up, and it's cloudy, impossible to see through. Set it down, let it be still, and it clears. The situation hasn't changed. The water's the same, but the clarity comes only when it rests. The same is true for your mind. In chaos, most people panic. They react to the first thing they see. But the person who can stay still, observe and wait, gains an advantage. They can see patterns others miss. They can notice details others overlook. They can decide with wisdom, not impulse. Stillness becomes their strength. Because while everyone else is burning energy and reaction, they are saving theirs for the move that matters. Clarity in chaos isn't about having all the answers. It's about creating enough calm inside yourself to see the next step clearly. Maybe not the whole path, but the next. And step by step, that is how you move through storms, without losing yourself. The world often mistakes stillness for weakness, but it is the opposite. Stillness takes discipline, it takes self-control, it takes the ability to resist the urge to prove, to fight, to defend. Anyone can flail in the storm. Few can stand steady and wait for the right moment. That is where true clarity is born. So when the chaos comes, and it always will, don't rush, don't let the noise dictate your choices. Be still, breathe, wait for the water to clear. In the silence of stillness, answers rise to the surface. In the calm of stillness, your strength becomes undeniable, and in the discipline of stillness, you gain clarity. The chaos could never take away. Stillness creates clarity in chaos, and clarity is what gives you the power to rise above it all. Your response shapes the outcome more than their action does. You can't always control what people do to you, what they say about you, or how they treat you. Life is full of unfair moments, sharp words, and unexpected challenges. But what truly defines the direction of any situation is not the action itself, it's your response. Their behavior may light the spark, but your response decides whether it becomes a fire or fizzles out. Think about conflict. Someone insults you, criticizes you, or disrespects you. In that moment, their action sets the stage, but how the story unfolds is in your hands. If you snap back, the conflict grows. If you escalate, the situation spirals. But if you pause, if you respond with calm or sometimes with silence, the power you have turned their attempt to control the narrative into an opportunity to control yourself. That's how outcomes are shaped, not by what comes at you, but by what comes out of you. Your response is more powerful than their action, because it has the final say. Words can hurt, actions can sting, but they only last as long as you let them echo in your mind. A wise response can disarm hostility, end arguments, and even turn enemies into allies. On the other hand, an unwise reaction can turn small problems into lifelong grudges. The choice is yours. It's easy to think, they started it, so I had to respond. But you always have a choice. You can choose to add fuel, or you can choose to bring water. You can choose to continue the cycle, or you can choose to break it. And that choice doesn't just change that moment, it changes your life. Because how you respond day after day shapes your relationships, your reputation, and your peace of mind. The most respected people aren't those who never face conflict, but those who know how to handle it. They understand that people will act out of anger, fear, or insecurity, but they don't let that dictate their own behavior. They know their response is what others will remember long after the action has been forgotten. A calm word, a steady tone, a refusal to be dragged down, that creates outcomes that elevate, instead of destroy. It's not weakness to respond with calm, it's not surrender to choose peace over chaos, it's strength, it's maturity, it's wisdom. Because anyone can mirror negativity, but it takes true power to rise above it. And when you do, you shape the outcome in your favor, every single time. So the next time someone tries to pull you into their storm, remember this: they can act however they want, but they don't decide the end. You do. Their action sets the stage, but your response writes the story. And if you choose well, you'll always come out stronger. Your response shapes the outcome more than their action does. And that is where your true power will always be. At the end of it all, it comes down to one truth. Your power has never been in what people say, what they do, or how they try to pull you off balance. Your power has always been in how you choose to respond, or not respond at all. Silence is not weakness, it's control. When you don't react, you protect your peace. Energy is your currency, and spending it wisely is how you stay rich in clarity and strength. Reacting only gives others control, but choosing not to react keeps your power exactly where it belongs, with you. Stillness in the middle of chaos creates the clarity you need to rise above, and your response will always shape the outcome, far more than their action ever could. So remember this: protect your peace, protect your energy, and protect your power. Because when you master yourself, no one else can master you, and that is true freedom.